Buongiorno, welcome to Pasta My Heart. I'm Brenda. If you're new here, if you will, like the video and subscribe. I wanted you to join me today as I make homemade seafood mac and cheese. Now, in my household, with my brothers and my kids and my grandkids, all of us, we love some mac and cheese. But because I grew up on the coast of North Carolina, I love to throw in some seafood. So today we're going to be making this. We're not going to use all the seafood that I have laid out. I'm going to save a little bit to the side, especially the scallops and the shrimp, because my mother, Liliana, she's almost 101. She loves some seafood. So we're going to have a little bit set aside for her. She could care less about the mac and cheese. She just wants that. So let's get started. I've already got my water boiling, and I'm going to be adding to it about 1.5 pounds of pasta. Now you can use classic, elbow macaroni. You can use penne. You can use our little pastas that I like to have the splits in them. Anything that will hold and cling that cheese to it, so that when you take a bite, you're getting just a mouthful of goodness. Okay, so let's add our pasta to the water and get it going. Let me grab my spoon over here. Let's get it back to a rolling boil. Now, while that is cooking, we're going to be cooking our seafood. We're going to be putting together our cheese sauce, and then getting it ready to go in the oven. Now, another thing that we have to do, and I'm sorry, but I didn't make all of this from scratch like I normally would. But another one of the things that I'm going to put in the oven to cook are these awesome crab cakes. So I use crab cakes to crumble on top of the mac and cheese. When I stick it in the oven, it'll brown really good, but it adds such a depth of flavor to it. This is actually Member's Mark from Sam's Club's crab cakes. So in tasting a lot of different crab cakes and trying a lot of different products throughout all the years, this particular brand happens to be my husband's favorite crab cake, store-bought, pre-made crab cake. So we're going to put this in the oven. I had to preheat it to 400. We're going to stick it in there for it says about 15 minutes, but because I'm going to put it in the oven again, I'm going to do it for a good 10. So let's get these going. So we've got our pasta going. We have our crab cakes going in the oven. Let me show you what else we're going to be using. I'll put this recipe below so you can have it to make for your family. Okay, to the ingredient list that we're using. We have got a little mixture of Old Bay seasoning, a few red pepper flakes, some salt and some pepper, all mixed up together, that we're going to start with our shrimp. So we've got this ready to go. We're going to be using about 4 or 5 tablespoons of butter. We've got about 1.5 pounds of fresh shrimp. We've got about 2 pounds of scallops. And remember, some of this is going to Liliana. I also have 2 cups of whole milk, 1 cup of heavy cream. I have shredded Colby cheese. I have shredded Parmigiano Reggiano. I have mozzarella, and I have 4 ounces of cream cheese. We're going to combine all of that to make our cream sauce after we make our seafood. So let me give this one more quick stir, and we're going to get started on our shrimp. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of this butter into my pan. Let's get this going. Let's do 1 of these for right now. Let's get started on ingredients. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to melt about 1 tablespoon of butter in our pan. And while that's melting, I'm going to go ahead and add about 1.5 pounds of fresh shrimp. My husband so lovingly cleaned them for me this morning. And we're going to get this going. Now, the trick to cooking some good shrimp is not overcooking it, because what you don't want to end up with is what I kindly refer to as chewing gum shrimp. So you want to cook shrimp until it gets pink, but not much beyond that. So we're going to get this going into my shrimp after I get all of this spread out. I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit. To my shrimp, I'm going to add my Old Bay, a little bit of red pepper flakes, salt and pepper mixture. And I'm going to sprinkle this over it. There's a tablespoon of Old Bay and about half a teaspoon of salt and a pinch of pepper, and then just a few red pepper flakes. I just want enough in it to give this mac and cheese a little bit of a kick, but not so overpowering that people that, like my brother, doesn't care for really hot spicy. So I'm easy and light-handed on the pepper flakes. So let me show you what this is looking like. All right, so one side of this shrimp is already turning pink. See it? But the other side, ooh, flip him over. There you go. He's still a gray. So you never want to just leave your shrimp in a pan cooking because they cook quick. So we're going to get them done, and then we're going to add our scallops. We're going to take the shrimp out. We're going to add our scallops back into it to get those just seared a little bit. Remember, everything that we're putting together here is going to be back in the oven for 30 minutes or so. So it's not that I'm telling you to undercook, but you want to undercook a little bit. Because what you don't want to end up are yucky seafood parts, especially as expensive as seafood is. The reason I'm using a crab cake for a topping instead of lump crab meat is mainly because of the price. Right now, when I looked at what lump crab meat was in the grocery store, wow. So like everything else, it's gone up considerably. All right, these are coming along really well. So I'm curious, when it comes to cooking pasta, are you a follow the directions, set the timer, when the timer goes off, you get your pasta off? Or are you like me where I let it cook and then I start pulling one out and tasting it to see if it's done? Comment below and let me know which one you prefer. What method do you prefer? Let's turn this off a minute. I want to show you this before I throw these in a bowl. So this is what I mean by pink. Both sides, just barely pink, but they're done. Look how good those look. And the juice. So now, while our pan is still warm, in the same juices that we did our shrimp in, let's turn our heat back up just a little bit. We're going to add, I've got 2 pounds of scallops, but realistically, I'm probably only going to use about a pound, maybe a pound and a quarter. These are the smaller ones. They're not the great big ones. They're just small. Now you can find these in your supermarket. They come, you can get fresh if you have a seafood market in your area, fresh seafood market if you live along the coast, right? Or you can buy them frozen. It's really okay. You can buy them. I like to buy the wild caught, not the farmed scallops. I do that with a lot of, well, if I can find the wild caught in fish, scallops, oysters, clams, all of those, then that's what I would prefer to do instead of just having farm raised. So these were frozen, and I made sure that they were wild caught instead of farmed. And so with scallops, they're a little touchy. They're a little more delicate. And so what we're going to do with them, we're going to let them cook on one side in the butter and the seasoning that I had on the shrimp until they get a little bit golden brown on both sides. You don't want to overcook scallops either, because if you overcook them, they're kind of yucky. So we're going to let that do its thing. I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit more. I am going to fish out one of these pastas a little bit longer, another couple of minutes. Now these are starting to sizzle. And also I've got my ingredients gathered over here. So as soon as my scallops are done, we're going to start making our cheese sauce in this same pan. You never need to wipe it out. You don't need to clean it, because all of this is going to mesh together. So what is your favorite pasta? What is your favorite seafood? And do you make homemade mac and cheese from scratch, or do you go and cheat and buy the box? Our scallops are almost where I need them to be. And again, only because I'm going to put them back in the oven for another 30 minutes with the mac and cheese. I don't want to cook them completely all the way through. Let's try our pasta again, because we don't want soggy pasta. I love al dente. So here's another question for you. I don't eat pasta in restaurants. I don't, because usually it's mushy. It's not al dente. How about you? What do y'all think of restaurant quality pastas? Ooh, that's hot. All right. So instead of draining my pasta, I fish it out. Why? Because this is amazing pasta water, and I truly don't want to waste it. So good. It's got all the beautiful starches from the pasta. It's got salt. It's great to help add to dishes if you need it as you're cooking. I'm watching our scallops. I don't want to burn them. Turn this down a little bit and give these a quick stir. Multitasking, right? These are done. All right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do real quick. I'm going to add these to our bowl with our shrimp so they'll get off the heat. I don't want rubbery, overcooked scallops. That would definitely be a waste of money and good cooking. I'm going to leave this off the heat while I finish getting our pasta out. Then we'll put it back on and we'll start our sauce. Beautiful pastas. That's done. Let's slide this to the back. All right, let's start on our sauce. Now, to our sauce, we are going to be adding Colby cheese, Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. We've got some cream cheese. We got some mozzarella cheese. We've got whole milk. We got heavy whipping cream. We're going to add some flour to our roux to make it a little thicker. We've got onion powder and, of course, butter, because everything's better with butter. Let's get this back going. Now, to deglaze this pan a little bit, because we've cooked seafood in it and it's kind of sticky on the bottom, we're going to start with our butter. I'm going to put, do I want to put 3 or 4 tablespoons? I think with the amount of pasta we're cooking, I'm going to go ahead and put 4 tablespoons of butter. Let's get that going and melting. Let's turn our heat back on. Let me check our crab cakes. Doing good. Oh, they smell good too. My kitchen right now smells awesome. If you ever cook in stainless steel pots, I don't use coated pots for anything, but if you ever have anything that sticks to them, if you're cleaning them, you need to get something stuck on the bottom off. Just add a little bit of water to your pot, let it warm up a little bit, and then just scrape the bottom. If you're cooking, then whatever liquid you put in there, just start scraping the bottom. And that way, all the goodness is kept in your sauces or your drippings, whatever that looks like. And your pan is pretty clean after you get through. Now we're going to have a lot of sticky, because when I get ready to add the cheese to all of this, that's going to be a time. But it'll do the same thing. When everything's done and I'm ready to clean things up, I will put water in it and I'll deglaze it. I'll clean it. I'll scrub it. Doesn't take long at all. All right, so we've got our butter melted. And to this butter, I'm going to grab my whisk out also. To this butter, we're going to add, I've got 2.5, 3 tablespoons of flour. Now, why am I doing this? Because we want to have thick, creamy sauce, and just putting cheese in here isn't going to do it. So we want to be able to make it into a creamy mac and cheese. And that's going to allow us, by adding the flour a little at a time and stirring it constantly with your butter, it's going to allow this, when I add all the other stuff, it'll start thickening up. This is a basic roux that I'm making. You can use it for all kinds of things, for brown gravies, pan drippings, all of those things that you are making some kind of sauce and you need to thicken it up. Except for your spaghetti sauces, your marinares, your pizza sauces. Let's not do that. That's another video. So we've got this all stirred in. I'm going to show you what it looks like. As you can see, it's butter, flour, and the drippings from the pan. And you keep stirring it because you don't want it to burn. Now to this, I'm going to be adding 2 cups of regular milk. Now, I'm one of these that you don't just dump everything in, right? Because my milk is, even though I've had it out for just a little bit, it's still cold. So I do it a little at a time, stirring it into my roux. I don't want it to scald. I don't want it to burn. And I'm a lefty, y'all. I need to switch hands. Now, after we've got this put in, so that's our 2 cups of milk. Just any kind of milk, whatever you want to use. I use whole milk just because. I don't think I would use skim milk. Maybe 2%, because you've got to have a little bit of that fat in there. All right, so to this also, we are going to add, let me turn my heat up a little bit. We are going to add 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. This is going to help solidify that creaminess too. All right, now, as these are coming up, You don't want them to boil. You want to keep scraping your pan to get anything that might be stuck on the bottom off. All right, I'm going to take that. I don't need to whisk it anymore. We'll end up with like whipped cream. This is looking good. I'm going to let it warm up just for a second more. Now remember, we're also cooking it in the same pan that we had all the other stuff cook in. We're cooking it with the seasonings. Let me check them again. They're looking good. Maybe another, let's go another 2 minutes or so. Now, as this is, I don't know if you can see the steam, but as it's coming just under a boil, I am going to start adding my cheeses. I am going to switch back over. I'm going to be comboing my utensils here. I've got my whisk and I've got my spurtle, and I'm going to start adding first my cream cheese. This is 4 ounces of just regular cream cheese. Again, I don't use low-fat anything, so this is not the low-fat cream cheese. It is just regular cream cheese. We're going to stir this in, let it get melted. Once you get your seafood cooked, it really doesn't take that long to get the sauce together. What I don't want to do is scorch anything, so I'm going to move that off the heat for just a second. Turn my heat down, because as we put cheese in here, I don't want it to scorch. So let's get this good mixed in, and it's already thickening up. So there we go, looking good. Now I'm going to add 2 cups of my, you can use cheddar. I just didn't happen to have any on hand. And so my husband grated all of our Colby cheese this morning up so I could use it. We're going to use 2 cups of this in our sauce. Let me grab my measuring cup again, just to make sure that I don't go too over, although we are a cheesy bunch of people. All right, I'm going to put 1 cup in, and I'm going to get this melting. I'm going to turn my heat way down. I don't want it to scorch, right? And you can see, look how thick it's getting. It really is thickening up. Let me show you. Look how thick that is. All right, we're going to add another cup, because why go with just 1? So 2 cups of the Colby. This is in place of my cheddar. Well, what's a big blob in the scheme of things? All right, so we got our 2 cups of Colby melting away in here. Stir. I'm going to turn this way down. Ooh, it's smelling good. There is nothing like making a sauce. Make sure I turn that one off. I don't want our crab cakes to get overdone. I'm going to add a cup of the Parmesan Reggiano to it. This is our favorite go-to cheese. So why am I using this instead of just regular Parm? Because there's a much saltier taste to it. It's got a stronger flavor to it than just Parmesan cheese. We don't use it in everything because, again, depends on what you're making. But in mac and cheese, it makes it. All right, I'm going to cut that completely off. So we've added our butter, our flour to make the roux. We've added 2 cups of whole milk, 1 cup of heavy cream. Then we added 2 cups of cheddar or Colby cheese. You could probably even do the Colby Jack. That would be good too. Or maybe a smoked cheddar if you want smoky mac and cheese. Not too much though. And then we added our Parmesan Reggiano. This is looking fantastic. Now to this, because 1 more item, right? We're going to throw our seafood back in. Now I am going to, before I forget, I am going to scoop out a few of these scallops and shrimp for my mom, because I want to make sure she gets some. And the rest is going in the pan with the juice and everything. Let's scrape this goodness out of there. If you hear my cat in the background, he's standing at the door of the kitchen just hoping he'll get some of this. It smells so good. All right, we're going to incorporate all of the cheese, all of the seafood. There we go. And then to this, we are going to add a few pieces of mozzarella. We're going to top everything with mozzarella too, because why not? More cheese. All right. I'm going to clean up a little bit of this mess, and then we're going to come back and we're going to put it all together and get it in the oven. We are ready to put things together. Back into my big pot, we're going to add our pasta. To this, we are going to add our seafood sauce. Yummy. Look at that. All of that in there. This looks so yummy. I'll set this over here. Bring this a little closer. Let's give it not too much of a stir. We want to mix and incorporate everything, but what we don't want to do is over mix it and mess up our pasta and mess up the seafood and everything that we've got going on in it. This looks amazing. All right. We're going to now get it into our pan. Look at all of that. Shrimp, scallops, pasta, cheeses, all of that goodness. We're going to give this a good spread out. Yummy. Now, to this, because you've got one more thing, remember, we put our crab cakes in the oven so that they could start cooking without browning too much. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take these crab cakes and we are going to just layer them on top. Break them up and layer them on top. A little warm, spread them out and layer them. Now you don't have to completely cover things, but you do want it to get good and spread out. Oven is preheated. We are ready to stick it in there. Yummy. Just another layer of such goodness. Look at that. So in our seafood pasta, in my seafood pasta, I guess I should say, because really if you don't like scallops, use clams. If you don't like clams, use oysters or add it all in there. Today we made ours with fresh shrimp, local shrimp. We made it with wild-caught scallops and with some really good crab cakes layered on top. Looks so good. Can't wait. Now, let's just see. Is it going to taste good? What do y'all think? This is going to be a good lunch. Today I have my in-laws coming over, one of my brothers and his wife, and my husband and I. And we're going to sit down and enjoy our seafood mac and cheese. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video.